I'm Rosemary Hopcroft. I'm Professor Emerita from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And since I received tenure, I've been interested in testing theories from evolutionary biology in sociology. And as you can imagine, that's been not very popular. If you have any idea about the discipline of sociology, it has been very anti-biology, but I have been doing that, from the safety of tenure, at least while I was a faculty member. And I was particularly interested in sex differences from an evolutionary point of view, which, as you can imagine, was also not popular. In sociology, the received wisdom is that sex is a social construct. So this has helped lead to some of the worst excesses of the woke ideology, as you know. Anyway, what I wanted to say today is how should sociology respond to the cancellation of sociology by the state of Florida? Well, I feel like sociology should become useful to students as part of their general education. And I do think the basic sociological perspective that to understand social behavior or any individual's behavior, you have to understand that person's social context, and that means their group affiliations, their peers, their family, and so forth. And that the importance of the social in shaping the social behavior of individuals. I mean, this was the central motivation for the discipline of sociology ever since, Emile Durkheim's suicide, where he showed that something as individual as taking one's own life is greatly influenced by the social context. And he looked at suicide differences, the differences in rates of suicide across different countries. And he related that to the different social life, particularly the religious life in these different countries. So, I do think the sociological perspective is a valuable and useful one, and there is a need for the social science of the social, of the aggregate, not just of the individual as we have with psychology. And in the past, sociology has approximated more of a true social science and has produced a great many useful findings that I think students would find useful in their lives. Just some examples, the strength of weak ties in groups, the effects of small group structure on who has power in the group, patterns of the demographic transition, implications of the age and sex structure of the population for society, the effects of divorce on children, all sorts of very useful findings that I think would be helpful for students to know, and for them as an educated human, which is, of course, what the purpose of a general education is all about. Now, most of these findings were from traditional social science research in sociology and related disciplines, many of them using aggregate data sets and statistical methods. Of course, Emile Durkheim, when he was an early founder of sociology, he did use some rudimentary statistics in his famous book, Suicide. Basically, I just completely agree with Bradley that the more of a social science sociology is, the more useful it will be for everyone, for policymakers, for students. We have to understand the social world. That's necessary for good policy, at least. And I think it's helpful for individuals, as I said. So we should strive to be more, sociology should strive to be more of a social science as it used to. It should not take any political, ideological, or activist positions. This was the way it used to be, at least when I was a graduate student in the 1980s at the University of Washington. Maybe that was unique, but we really understood that we were supposed to be value neutral as social scientists, and I think that's exactly right. Sociology should be silent about questions of value, and values and ethics, of course, are very important and can be very important guardrails, but they're separate to the social science itself. And obviously we don't want to do unethical research or anything like that, but the point is these should be two completely separate domains, the social science and our values and morality. And I also think, given my own background, that sociology should be more open to relinking itself to the life sciences, particularly biology. This is the way all science is done. It's science at every level of aggregation is always compatible with the science at the next lower level of aggregation. And so I think linking sociology to the life sciences, particularly biology, would help with the enterprise of making sociology more of a true social science. So thank you.